Maybe these were the shoes that he was talking about. Even he was confused.
Yo, I don't know, man. It's crazy. Like, these feel awful. Want to play in plastic? Sure.
Sustainability.
Sustainability. It's my passion. Yo, what's good, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we are talking about these guys right here. Not calling them bad boys, man. Sorry. That traction and the cushion, awesome. But everything else, complete shit. But this is apparently the real Kyrie 8 because the Kyrie Infinity wasn't. I don't know what's going on over there. I don't think they do either. There's a whole bunch of drama and all that shit, and we're not talking about it. So it is what it is. We're gonna keep it about the shoes. First things first, this is the box. So it comes in one of these Move to Zero boxes. To me, that's a big sign of like, we're not re-signing Kyrie. There's no signature box like you normally, even his takedown shit gets a signature box.
His name's still on the box.
No, it's not. It's on the label. Oh, there it is. Actually, yeah, I didn't even see that. This is such a generic box that they use on damn near everything. I didn't even see that. Thank you. But this is still not a good sign. So there's a lot of drama surrounding Kyrie right now. Again, we're not going to be talking about any of it. We're just going to be talking about these shoes. One of the things, though, that we can talk about that I guess we could consider kind of drama-ish, but it revolves the shoe alone, which is this going to be the last Kyrie? I don't know. And I don't even know how I feel about that because as a player, I think he's awesome. Like, he's got some of the best handles I've ever seen, some of the best finishes at the rim I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen Hall of Famers throughout my whole life, you know what I mean? Like Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, all those guys, but this guy finishes at the rim like nobody's business.
Did you just hear that?
What?
MJ took that personally because you named him second.
Really? I didn't name him second.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. Like, look, MJ, first off, he needs to get his brand right before he does anything. Take that personally. The second thing, though, is that, I mean, I've seen MJ do the flippy thing, you know, when he's not looking, does that and all that stuff. That's cool. Kyrie does shit that I've never seen before. Never. And I mean, back then, we didn't see any of that either. But Kyrie's different. The dude's built different. He's doing weird-ass jellies and shit. Like, I mean, what the f... And I don't even know how you think to do that, because they don't train you to do that shit when you're playing basketball. They might nowadays, but they didn't when I was a kid. And yeah, and when you're on the other side of the hoop, and then you can't even see the damn rim, and you decide to do this, and spin that shit off the, like, that's magic at that point. What the hell? So anyways, as a basketball player, he's fantastic. His shoes are some of my favorite too, and they're some of the best selling shoes that Nike's ever produced, especially nowadays. Like, his shoe is always the #1 top seller amongst all the basketball shoes in their category, or the basketball category. But yeah, I just think it's really crazy that, like, this is a lot of people's favorite line, and it's just going away.
It's getting dusted.
Straight up, Thanos snapped.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir, please.
But anyways, the traction itself looks fantastic. Like, this looks like it's going to grip every court that it gets on. It's really widely spaced, it's thick, it's aggressive looking. Like, this looks awesome. It looks very similar though to the GT Cut 2, the Smear 2.0 traction, right? It doesn't say that anywhere on the outsole. So like, I don't know if they're just not advertising it, but like, it even feels like it, which is really crazy. And by the way, my description of the Smear traction in that video, the GT Cut 2s, completely off. It didn't have anything to, well, I mean, it had a little bit to do with what it was, but it wasn't completely like accurate and everything. But basically, each of these herringbone aggressive peaks or whatever that come out of the shoe and protrude outwards, they're actually hollow. So what it's supposed to do is compress while you're moving so that it kind of like grips and moves with the player, basically. It's super weird.
And smears.
It smears, yes. Which I kind of took as like it's going to move across the court.
Like a wiper blade?
Correct, which is what herringbone does anyways. That's that screeching sound that you hear. But this one does it in a way that adds compression to it because it hollows it out. So it's really weird. But a lot of people are seeing a lot of durability issues with the traction because it is hollow. So like, their rubbers are ripping on the GT Cuts specifically, not this shoe. I don't even know if these are releasing. Not only could this be the last Kyrie, but like, can you get them? I don't know. But anyways, the traction feels like it will be great. The cushion is half and half. The front half is the same exact cushion setup as last year's model. So the front half of the shoe, hella comfortable. The foam though, nah. The foam is hard as shit. It's light and it's fluffy, but it doesn't feel like that underfoot. So it is what it is. I'm sure that it'll break in a little bit. Do not pay resale for these, okay? There's people like taking these from the stores and putting them on GOAT and stuff. Don't do that. Wait for them to hit the outlet, okay? But anyways, they're not very comfortable in my opinion, especially not compared to the last model. So I think that that's a big bummer. The upper though, the upper is awful, man. The upper is just... I get the whole move to zero thing, but like there's synthetic materials that are recycled as well that you can use that feel and sound and don't require as much break-in time as something like this. This entire shoe is made out of TPU threads. It's stiff. It's so stiff. Like, I'd be upset if I was Kyrie about this. Not the last one, this one. And those ones had similar threading in the forefoot and everything, but they had some like decent materials in the back. This though is just, it's just not cool. The weird thing though is that there's stuff designed in the shoe and in the upper that is really, really cool. The main thing is, well, for one, you can't see it, but on certain colorways, you can see this like colored strip right here that's very similar to what we saw last year in the Infinity, where it had that kind of like the Infinity lockdown system and things like that. This one kind of elevates that, so like it has the strap basically without being a strap. So it's got that in the forefoot, goes through the tongue, and then it pokes out, and that's what these two eyelets are at the bottom. So that is all interwoven together. So when you lace up your forefoot area, it's not only wrapping the thing, like if you guys remember the KD4s and they had that big old strap that was crazy and it was awesome, it's very similar to that without the actual strap itself. Instead, the laces act as the strap. I mean, that's dope. It's stuff like that. It really bums me out that this shoe is gonna be wasted, possibly. Whoever gets a pair, I really hope that they like them, but that whole thing alone makes me be like, well, that at least is really, really cool. The upper material is not, but that concept is sick. You also see dynamic flywire for the first time in I know that we've seen flywire here and there and stuff like that as the lacing, but like I haven't seen it in a minute, you know what I mean? So it was really interesting that they did that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of people end up having like issues when they like tug on them and stuff and it pops the stitches. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore, but you never know. The swoosh is really cool looking. I will say it feels like a support panel, so it kind of cups the heel and then wraps around the lateral side of your foot. So that's kind of like integrated with the internal heel counter. The shoe itself is pretty much a low. Like I know they kind of look like mids and stuff, but they feel a lot like lows. They sit right underneath your ankle. And as far as sizing is concerned, they do fit true to size, so I would go with that. It's just that they feel really, really stiff. And it's because of the materials and stuff. Obviously the midsole doesn't help. So you got stiffness underneath your midfoot back, and then the entire upper is hella stiff, and the forefoot is Zoom Air and bouncy. So it's just one of those things where it just doesn't flow as nicely as the previous models, you know what I mean? Like I love the Kyrie Infinity, I love the Kyrie 7 except for outdoors. I wore them one time outside and all my traction was gone. It was crazy. And I loved the model before that, the Kyrie 6. That one is probably one of my favorites, and not just my favorite out of the Kyrie line, but one of my favorite hoop shoes ever. So seeing that and then now this, it's just like, man, what the f. It's just a bummer. So if you're able to grab a pair, for one, again, go true to size. Two, I hope that you like them. I really do. I personally wouldn't want to play in something like this that's this stiff. You know what I mean? Like there's other options that are much better. So there's that. The forefoot cushion and the traction is cool, but the rest of the midsole is just kind of meh. Sound off below though and let us know what you think is going to happen with these. Like, do you think, for one, that this is going to be the last Kyrie with Nike at least? It would be interesting to see if there's more Kyries, but somewhere else. On top of that, how do you think this is gonna go out into the marketplace? I don't see, they've already made a number of colorways of these. They've spent all the money on the tooling, on all the patterns, most of the manufacturing on like this colorway, and there's like 2 others that are already made. That's a lot of money. It's a lot. So do you think that these are gonna hit outlets? Do you think that they're eventually gonna come to some kind of agreement where they're gonna be like, fine, we're gonna release them in stores? Like if you see the stores right now, all of the Kyrie models are heavily discounted because they're just trying to get rid of them. So it could be damn near anything, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on everything down below in the comments section. Thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Hopefully this is not the last Kyrie, but you know, we'll see what happens. But with all that being said, thank you once again, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.